Hello, everyone. My name is Haley Perlman, and I am a doctoral psychology intern and counselor at CAPS. The title of this presentation today is called Being a Woman, My Body, and Media. So it's kind of designed for cisgendered women who are very much portrayed a certain way in the media. I imagine that even talking or saying out loud, my body and media, might bring about to our minds just different images that come up about how women and appearance is portrayed in the media. So I just want to highlight that some of these slides that I'll be presenting today are adapted with permission from Dr. Stephanie Mokhtarian, who's a former CAP psychologist and was one of my mentors. So she and I have given similar presentations together, and some of those slides have come from those presentations. So here's the outline. So 3 overarching goals that I'm hoping people will take away, or information people will take away from this. So I want to help people become educated consumers of the media. And then we'll also go through some kind of exercises and food for thought type slides just about really experiencing body image and how it's portrayed in the media. And then, of course, empowerment, advocacy, and what people can do about it. So for today, you'll need about 45, 50 available minutes, up to an hour, depending on how long you want to spend reflecting and writing down some of the journal prompts. So this is a pre-recorded webinar, kind of like the live workshops that CAPS offers. And throughout this video, especially when it comes to journal prompts or, taking time to reflect, you will be encouraged to pause the video so you have enough time to complete the activity. So really all you need is a pen and a piece of paper. Throughout this PowerPoint, there's going to be a series of these journal prompts to ensure that you can kind of think through some of the questions that are coming up and further reflect on some of the things we're going to discuss. All right, so are you media literate? I've seen some different statistics, but essentially all of them say that there is a ton of advertisements that bombard us daily in magazines, on billboards, on TV, and in newspapers, and now with social media, with Instagram, with Facebook. I'm sure even looking at the weatherchannel.com, you might see a sidebar of, a J. Crew shirt that you were looking at a few websites ago, right? It is there everywhere. And related to this, body dissatisfaction is seen in women as early as age 5 years old. So take a moment, and you can pause if you want to do this and spend some time on this, but in the graphic below, every letter corresponds to some type of company. When you glance at this, how many can you name? And again, go ahead and pause it if you want to kind of test your skills. But essentially what this shows is how ingrained these messages are that we can automatically know what company and what food or product is being advertised. So let's think about culture and how body image has been portrayed across the media. As you look at these images, kind of just make note of what's coming to mind. What do you see when you look at Marilyn Monroe in the 1950s? What was the body ideal then? And what did it look like in the 1960s with Twiggy? What's standing out to you? And again, you can pause this as you need to keep reflecting. What stands out here? Anything about diversity? Body image, shape, size? What do you see when you look at these women? What comes up for you? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Go ahead and pause as needed. Do you know the names of these women? Do you know what fashion shows they're participating in? Or where the photographs were taken? What events? And if you do, if the answer to those questions is yes, What does that signal to you? I want you to take a minute, go ahead and either, click on the link or copy and paste it into your browser and watch this video. After you've done that, go ahead and pause this, and then after you've done that and return to this, I want you to reflect on these questions. Take out that pen and paper and start writing things down. What do you notice about the model photographs? What about the video that you just watched? What messages are being perpetuated by society about what it means to be beautiful and attractive? Go ahead and pause and write down your answers. When you're ready, come on back. So I want to take us through a closer inspection of media. And I actually think that this warning sign is important because some of the images that we might see coming up definitely evoke certain feelings in me. So just be kind of prepared for whatever it is your reaction might be when you see the next few images. But before that, I want to share with you a certain study that was done in the late 90s. So in general, we know that, and we'll talk more about how the media promotes a very narrow and unrealistic ideal body type. It even implies that anything else is less than desirable, might even be weird or abnormal. And this is really, really highlighted by a study that was conducted in Fiji in the late 90s. So, for those of you who don't know where Fiji is, it's an island that is pretty secluded. So, in the 90s, it had not yet, there was no television, and there was thus really no way to access what quote unquote Western culture looked like and how beauty and attractiveness and appearance was being portrayed in the media. And so a group of researchers went in and kind of after television was introduced, surveyed a bunch of young Fijian women, and what they found is that before TV, none of these issues came up, but after TV was introduced, these women were starting to report body dissatisfaction, particularly feeling dissatisfied with their body shape or their body weight, and they had started engaging in eating disorder behaviors. So they had started purging, self-induced vomiting, to control their weight and their shape. And so this is a study that was really kind of a hallmark study for the body image / eating disorder field because it really, really shows just how much media can influence women. How powerful media can be simply just by the introduction of television. All of these body dissatisfaction and eating disorder behaviors were able to be measured. So let's kind of hold that in our mind as we go through the next few slides. This is an advertisement. What do you think is being advertised here? Kind of just think about your answers, or pause and jot them down if that feels important. I have seen this image many, many times in the different presentations that I've given, and all I am drawn to is this woman's open mouth and her painted red lips. And then I remind myself to look down, and I see her breasts and a Tom Ford cologne. Huh. What about this? Save the whales. Lose the blubber. Go vegetarian. And if you see, there's a PETA sign across the woman's back. So this is a ad for an organization that's aim is to, protect the animals. Does this even make sense to you? Save the whales with a larger body. Go vegetarian? How does this even add up? Beyond teasing larger body size and equating that with a whale. What kind of reaction does this invoke in you? Go ahead and pause, write it down if that feels important. Let's see what's next. This one. The ultimate attraction. I still, every time I see this, I need to pause and just take it in. That this man is making love to a car. This woman is just an object. So, holding on to all the reactions or thoughts or feelings that we have. What are the messages here for men and for women? How do they make you feel? What are those reactions and feelings that came up for you? What do you wish you could tell the companies? What are some of the thoughts going through your mind when you viewed those images? Go ahead and pause and then write that down. So let's keep going. Let's keep taking a look at the media. The shrinking celebrities. When I was putting together these slides, I was updating them because I know Adele very recently has been in the media for her weight loss. Not the fact that she's one of the greatest singers of our generation. And it's appalling to me how many options I had for what I wanted to put on this slide for shrinking celebrities. That this is still something that's featured in the media, in magazines, when you're online to check out at a grocery store. Secrets revealed, secrets behind Adele's 22-kilogram weight loss. What do you guys see here? Hold on to any of those reactions coming up. Shrinking celebrities, the Tyra Banks weight loss story. This is someone who has been in the media since she was a young girl. So this is a weight loss journey that that consumers have been able to follow. Tyra's yo-yoing body or yo-yoing diet or shape. Taking it one step further, what about simply just the changing celebrities that we've seen in the media? Like the Kardashian family. I imagine that many of you already knew this, but this is Khloe Kardashian. So she's one of the celebrities from Keeping Up with the Kardashians, one of our famous American families. She's very recently been in the media for her ever-changing face. What stands out to you guys about these images? What about the mixed messages we've been given in society? I can't see from looking at these images how far apart the Beyonce was on these covers or how long ago this was. However, we go from Real Women Have Curves, Beyonce at her best, to 7 Day Slim Down, Tone, tighten, and torch. 2,000 calories. Indulge without the bulge. Beyonce, strong and sexy. How she got her powerful post-baby body. So on the left, on the Vogue cover, real women have curves. Here's Beyonce. She's a real woman, and she's you know um, authentic and someone who we would call curvy and real. And then on the Shape cover, we're glorifying, or she's being glorified for getting her baby body or post baby body back. Even on the bottom right hand corner of this Vogue cover, weight obsession. One woman conquers her diet demons. What does that mean? Does that mean how one woman gave up her dieting and got her life back? And if so, what a juxtaposition between the next cover, Indulge Without the Bulge. Right? Like what are we supposed to make of all of this? So there's some research to show that with the social media boom in the early 2000s, and then of course the Instagram, which came out in the late 2000s, I don't know, 2009, 10, 11 maybe, with the ever-changing ability to consume media at our fingertips, it's also come with a change in body ideal. And so there's some evidence and research that shows that the modern body ideal is equated with this idea of strong is the new skinny. So it's not enough to be skinny. There also has to be some muscle tone. And I understand that this is probably a dramatic image of that kind of new modern body ideal. But what do you see here? Is this someone that's powerful and lean? What is this telling us for what we need to look like in order to be strong as the new skinny? So let's really think about this. I'm going to read through these prompts and then I want you to pause and take some time to really write this down. Given what we've discussed this far and your own kind of experience being a media consumer, what does the perfect woman in our society look like? For example, how tall is she? What do her arms, her legs, and her stomach look like? What is her body shape? What does her butt look like? Her hair, her breasts. Think of some of the celebrities you admire, athletes you admire, or anyone, famous that you see on TV and in magazines. Go ahead and pause to record. Now, when you come back and you have a list, so ideally, the list that you've probably generated is long. And if it's not, really think more about it. What is her eye? What color are her eyes? Can she be tall? But is there a limit to how tall she is? What do her cheekbone look like? What does her cheekbones look like? What about her jawline? What about her teeth? What does her back look like? Her feet? Her nails? Once you feel like you've gotten a long list, like almost like a laundry list of to-do things that you might make if you're trying to do a house project. Once you've gotten there, take a look and reread everything. Ask yourself, is it possible to be all of these things at once? How do you control how tall a person is, what their cheekbones look like, their jawline? We call this perfect woman in society, this ideal that perfect woman is portraying, the appearance ideal. Sometimes people call it the thin ideal or the body ideal. But the perfect woman in society is typically referred to as an appearance ideal. What are the costs of pursuing this appearance ideal? So before you pause, I want you to just get ready to make another list. But really think about this. Literally, what are the costs? For example, how expensive is it to get that mani-pedi to look like that appearance ideal? How expensive are the highlights? The ombre, the balayage type of highlights that are being done at salons now. And then conversely, what about the other costs? What aspects of your life are you giving up by pursuing this appearance ideal? Are you sacrificing your mood? Are you sacrificing social time because you cannot work out less than 6 or 7 days a week? What are your costs of pursuing this appearance ideal? Go ahead and pause and really reflect on that. So I think we've gotten through the education and experiential part. Let's talk about empowering messages, how to create a sense of empowerment and advocacy. So the good news is, because we have more information that's more accessible at our fingertips due to social media, that's more room for us to be aware of what's missing, what we need more of. More diversity, more representation. Starting with children's books, which is incredibly important because this is the age when kids are still learning. They maybe don't have the ability yet to think for themselves. You know, it's really important as parents or mentors or teachers to introduce kids to all different types of appearance ideals. And so here are some of the books that do that. Here are some more. I Am Enough. Just me. I am enough. Or Dream Big, little one. You can do whatever the hell you want. Dream whatever you want. You can dream about whatever you want to be when you grow up. And then there is a movement for more body diversity. There are tons of social media accounts. Each of these individuals have accounts. So on the left, we have Ashley Graham, and on the right, we have Lizzo. One is Ashley Graham is a model, a supermodel, and Lizzo is an artist, a musician, and in my opinion, a really great one. And both of these individuals have Instagram accounts, and there's plenty of other Instagram accounts that are out there. Body Pasa Panda is another one, but there's a ton of information being spread about body diversity these days. So that's a really exciting movement to be part of and to perpetuate. One of the favorite things, or the things that excite me when I see these photographs, is that they are not airbrushed. These are real human female bodies. They're soft in some areas. Maybe their breasts aren't perfectly perky and symmetrical. These are humans. These are also humans. Wrinkled or wonderful. Fat, fit, or maybe just joyful. That's a word we can also use to describe the first woman. In a moment, you can pause and record your responses, but let's think about your own advocacy. What can you do to take care of yourself? And specifically by that, I mean, what can you do to reinforce these messages of positivity or reinforce or help yourself catch yourself when you're being pulled into or seduced by the trap of the media? And what can you do to advocate for change? How will you take back power? For me, I know that I control the media I do and do not consume. So, just a little bit of self-disclosure about me. I got married recently, and one of the most exciting things for me was picking out my wedding dress. I had been really excited. I love dresses. I loved the different options, and a few of friends of mine or family members who had been previously married introduced me to some wedding dress companies that I began following on Instagram. And it absolutely blew my mind how many models looked underweight that were posing for the photographs and in the wedding dresses. So, one of the things that I did was I really screened which accounts I was comfortable following, and I sent messages indicating how I felt and how infuriating it was seeing underweight models in wedding dresses. That was for me a big piece of taking back my own power, really trying to regulate what media I pay attention to because half of it's bullshit. So go ahead and pause and think about these answers for yourself. Write them down. Taking care of you. Oftentimes, when I'm working with individuals who are coming to see me for counseling because of body image concerns or eating behavior concerns or eating disorders, we often talk about how there seems to be two inner conflicting voices. So one voice is kind of that mean voice. So sometimes we call it the eating disorder voice. It's the voice that's encouraging my client to restrict their eating or skip dinner with their friends because they didn't have a chance to do their exercise yet for the day, right? That's the mean eating disorder voice. But in everyone, there's also that healthy voice that wants to empower them. And usually, when a client's coming to see me for the first time for an eating disorder or something related to that, the eating disorder voice is the one that's really loud. So, a lot of the work that we do is finding a way to bring out that healthy voice and make it louder. So, I would recommend listen for your own inner healthy voice, the one that has your best interest at heart, even if it's just a whisper, the one that wants you to be flexible about your exercise routine if it means that missing exercise on a particular day means that you get to have more friend time or you get to go to that concert or whatever. Work to find your own meaning and purpose and identify your intention. Identify your intention when you open up Instagram. What will you not pay attention to? What will you choose to limit your attention to? For me, the wedding dress accounts. Assert yourself. Do something that feels good in your body. Are you going for a run because you think it might burn a lot of calories, or are you going for a run because you absolutely love the way you feel during or after a run? Occupy places that promote positive body image. Are you going to restaurants that have a large section of their menu devoted to quote unquote guilt-free options? Do you want to be spending your money at a place that encourages you to buy into the idea that certain foods are guilt-inducing? And that's why you should get the guilt-free options? Does that promote healthy body image? All of these things have to do with taking care of you. Avoid the comparison trap. I wish that we could build some sort of algorithm into Instagram. That every time you open the app, something flashes and says, avoid the comparison trap, or make note of your own social comparison, right? Just repriming our minds to remember you don't have to compare yourself to every other Instagram account. We don't have to do that. What would help you avoid that comparison trap? Identify healthy motivation habits. Are you interested in doing yoga 3 times a week, for example, because it makes you feel good? Or because your friend challenged you to do it and you feel guilty saying no? And on that note, spend time with supportive people and avoid destructive people. It's okay to set boundaries with people who don't influence your life positively or don't make you feel good. Sample mantras. And part of the reason why I love them, and I'm going to read them out loud, and part of the reason why I really like these and I selected these ones are because sometimes in the media or in the body positive movement, some of the body positivity messages don't feel authentic. Like, if you don't think every aspect of your body is beautiful, you're not going to be able to can use that as a mantra. I am the most beautiful, or I am totally beautiful, if you don't feel it. But can you be body neutral? Can you have body acceptance? For example, can you value your body just as it is? I value my body as it is. I am whole. I celebrate my body in this moment. I am perfectly imperfect. I am already what I want to become. I am enough. I can make change happen. I am strong. And feel free to pause this and write any other ones that come to mind. Again, steps towards body neutrality or body acceptance. Tell other people, say it out loud or send them a message when their comments wound your body image or when it feels disparaging. You have a right to be treated well. Leave destructive relationships or lessen or put boundaries in destructive relationships, whether that's a romantic relationship, a familial relationship, or a platonic relationship. Do something that helps you feel good about your body. Take a really nice bath. Light some incense, candles. Get a massage. Put on your favorite clothing that you just feel good in. Take dancing classes or classes that help you like move and express your body. Anything. Do yoga if that's what makes you feel good. And then, of course, reduce your exposure to negative media. Remember, just as you saw on that Dove campaign clip, remember that most pictures of models are airbrushed or computer enhanced. Seek positive media role models and spend time in settings that promote positive body image or body acceptance. However, sometimes maybe what we reviewed today is helpful and kind of gives you some food for thought, but maybe you're realizing you might need some additional support. And how do you even know? How do you determine if additional services are needed? One big one is if you notice any healthy eating behaviors that are coming up for you. Are you restricting your calories? Are you noticing that you have foods that are forbidden that you're not allowed to eat? Are you having food rules like not allowing yourself to eat past 6 p.m. or fasting during the day? Are you self-inducing vomiting? Come check us out if those things are going on for you. Or other mental health symptoms like noticing more depression or anxiety, change in your sleep or your appetite or hygiene. If your day-to-day life is really changing in terms of your academic, social, or work functioning, feelings of hurting yourself or others, if you're having thoughts about suicide, thoughts about homicide, wanting to hurt someone else, come give us a call. And how do you do that? Well, let's take a look. So the Counseling and Psychological Services, CAPS, office is on the 4th floor, as we kind of noted in the very first slide. So kind of disclaimer, depending on when you're watching this, it's possible that all of the changes due to the COVID-19 pandemic are still in effect. But that all being said, we are still offering individual and group, select group through telehealth. We have the crisis line available. So the instructions here for the crisis line are still available. We will, when things resume normal, we will be able to offer emergency appointments again. That's not the case right now. And we have other free workshops. In terms of the Let's Talk hours, if you see in bullet point or bullet number 3, those are temporarily suspended, but those will resume again, again following the COVID-19 pandemic dissipating. So this is what the Let's Talk Now program looks like. So it's free, it's informal, it's in several different cultural centers and offices throughout campus. And then there's just another similar program simply about like, these are just essentially drop in and consulting / talking services located at all of these different places. And if you want to talk further, you can always call CAPS to schedule an appointment. If you've identified that your presenting issues are related to body image or maladaptive exercise or disordered eating, the COPE team is a good place to start. So Coalition for Overcoming Problem Eating or Exercise is what COPE stands for. So COPE is a team that exists as a multidisciplinary team that exists at the health center. There's physicians, eating disorder trained dietitians, and counselors like myself. So it's a mix of individual therapy and group therapy, and again, dietitians, nutrition counseling. The dietitians are a really vital asset to our team as well. Sexual Assault Crisis Services, SACS, is also another team that it exists at the health center. So this is free counseling to anyone who's experienced a sexual assault. Services are available for all genders and identities. There's also the Center for Human Growth. This is another counseling office on campus that could be a resource to you as well. All right, so that's what I've got for you guys today. And again, if you have any questions or you're interested in seeking CAB services further, go ahead and give us a call.